Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leon from Phoenix Home Guru. We're going on to the number 7 of 8 in our series on buying a home. And now we're talking about some of the final details, some of the details that we get into during the contract process. At this point, we're already under contract. We already negotiated a price. We've already opened escrow. Now, in our contract, and this is something that can be negotiated, but normally it's a 10-day inspection period. Now, that is a due diligence period that allows us to really look into everything about the home. Make sure the neighborhood is what we thought it was. Make sure that there's not Superfund sites. Make sure that the HOA, if there is one, their rules jive with our rules. Make sure the house is in good condition. So one of the biggest thing in here, and I always insist, and really even with a relatively new home, is that during this inspection period we do have a professional inspector come in and look at the house in detail. We have it often where people come in and they find some critically bad thing with the house. Just recently I was talking to the inspector, and he had something as simple as a dryer vent had been dislodged in the attic space. Well, over years of drying clothes with this relatively large family, it caused a mold issue that was thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. Had you not done a home inspection, that would never come to fruition. It would not come to light. So a good quality home inspector is worth their weight in gold. And I gotta tell you that the $300 or $400 you spend on that can save you thousands in heartache and buying the wrong home and making it a money pit that just will destroy your finances. So that is extremely important. So after the 10-day inspection period, what ends up happening is we'll come up with something called the buyer's notice and seller's response. And basically that is a legal document that says we have decided to allow you to take the house as is if it's a perfectly good house. We're asking for some repairs, or we're denying the house outright. And we can deny the house for any reason at this point. We don't even have to really state the reason. Well, in all fairness, I like to state the reason, and I like to share the report so that they have the ability to take that and do something with it. So again, with the win-win, we want to make sure that they're able to get some clarity. But sometimes it's just a bad feeling. And sometimes it's just one of the family members just doesn't like the home for whatever reason. This is where we tell them what we're going to go forward with. Now, under our contract, they have 5 days to respond to our repair requests, if there are any. And if they don't respond within 5 days, it's basically telling us that we're not doing anything. That's where a little communication between the two representatives makes a big difference, because sometimes it's just a miscommunication or out of state or an institutional seller. They can make it a little difficult. So we don't necessarily have to go by the letter of the contract on that. With an addendum, we can extend. So part of what I had mentioned before is keeping a win-win attitude. This is where it really bears fruit. When we are positive and we're respectful, when we come in with these repairs, more repairs get done, more repairs get approved. People want to continue the sale as opposed to are looking for a reason to get out of it. If you come in and you are difficult, both the realtor and the seller sometimes are looking for a reason not to continue the sale, and this is a way that they would do it. So keeping it positive bears incredible fruit at this point. After we do this, we're basically now just dealing with what the lender needs from you. And there's a lot of processes that they're going to need. They're going to need a lot of documentation. And we're going to be talking to a lender in a future series on the whole lending process and how it has changed since the last crash. So one of the things that they're going to ask you to do, and I only do this after we get past the inspection period, is they're going to ask you for an appraisal, almost always. And the appraisal process, depending on what kind of loan you have, sometimes will have an inspection component. So that's usually done 3 weeks before closing, and that gives them time to actually repair any of the things or address appraisal issues. So say we have an appraisal and it comes in for less than the value. Then we have it under the negotiation on our hands. We actually have the ability to say, hey, we'd like to we like the home well enough that that we're going to come up with a difference, or we can reject the home, or we can negotiate back and forth. And this is, again, if you have a good relationship, this will bear fruit here big time. If everybody's giving, then they're going to give far more at this point. And the appraisal, just so you know, is just it's just one man's opinion of the market. And currently in the Phoenix metro area, there's a set of appraisers that are trying to slow down the market. They are activist appraisers as opposed to observers of the market. So that can impact the values that they tell the lenders the home is worth. So we can actually look at some of the things. Sometimes we'll battle that if necessary, but it's another negotiating point. From there, it's just a matter of a walkthrough, which is usually 3 or 4 days before close, that allows us to make sure the house is in exactly the same condition that we considered it and the repairs are done. And then after that, we're ready for that big day of close. And that's going to be the subject of our next video, the closing process and when you get your keys. So this is Leon from Phoenix Home Guru. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube to our series. If you have any comments, please let me know below. If you have anything you would like to add or anything that you think that you have any differences with, I'll be glad to listen and get into a discussion with you. Thank you very much. We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.